Only the lawful U.S. government had the right to lock you up in the first place, let alone let you out and blame me. I am not gay, I've never been gay, I'm never gonna be gay, and that is obviously faggot shit. The U.S. Constitution establishes what our government is or isn't. Corrections Corporation of America isn't. The Union won the first American Civil War, not a union. The best I can do is go by the book. Just because you've never read one doesn't legally make me a target. Gandhi invented Muslim neutrality. That's where stupid is in charge. Don't pretend to represent his nephew against me. I presume he's read it. If he had any motive to send a bunch of homos and fucking retards to try me, it was just to get rid of them. Remember Mother Teresa? You people pretend to be Catholics, and you have no idea how any of this works. I'm on to your little sham. Hanoi Jane protested the Vietnam War from behind enemy lines and came back, and these goddamn bankers were like, well, if she can kill Americans, so they converted Hollywood to a shooting type of colony. Then we have mitochondrial Eve, because the Muslims have been calling the Pope a liar for 1400 years. Now they have proof. But there was no land bridge to Australia because there's no other types of hominids or primates on the continent, which means they didn't walk. And seafaring canoes were not invented until about 3,000 years ago. Like, we're not allowed to archaeology anymore. Oh, this proves we were right all. Just have to cancel everything else. Everything else in the meantime, canceled. The Hippocratic Oath, Good Samaritans, IQ testing. We can't have everybody proven we're not the dumb ones. Holy marriage is a real and enforceable contract. So Gandhi kicked the redcoats out by suppressing the Kalibat and just basically threw the door open to humanity's closest natural enemies. The last emperor of China abdicated to a bunch of dickless wizards called eunuchs, and now they're raping little boys to prove they're not the Buddha. Well, maybe he's perfect. He can't be, because we fucked him. They're using the Cuban Missile Crisis to prove that white people are rightfully extinct, and hiring a bunch of stupid Nazi dickhead wizards to manage our extinction, because these people cannot be relied upon to see to their own best interests. That's why Catholicism's perfect and Protestantism doesn't like it. So the protesting. The Holy Roman Empire, which is already a blatant contradiction in terms, coincided with the existence of an actual Roman Empire. It wasn't even the Roman Empire, let alone the Holy Roman Empire. So the Protestants are like, we didn't like that very much. Let's bring it back. Revelations 2:9 says it was not the Jews. So I think it's safe to say, regardless who it was, flat earth killed Jesus. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Nah, maybe it was that guy. Maybe it was that guy passing the buck till he gets to kindergarten, chasing kindergartners around for decades. The problem with Islam, one problem with it, the reason it keeps expanding, proliferating, propagating its stupidity is a kindergartner might have an illegitimate child in Islam. Moses said, to lie with a man as thou doth with a woman is an abomination, because two boys can't make a baby. No God will ever bless two men with childbirth. This absolute separation of church and state has these idiot scientists trying to make men have a baby like the church is the stupid one. You have a moral obligation to preserve your own life. Like, you can't just be like, the Navy SEALs aren't allowed to investigate Benghazi because God said. Thank God for dead soldiers. Thank God for Benghazi. Why would it be anybody else, Navy? As long as we're on the topic of religious freedom to kill the people preserving your say in the matter, what does God say about Exodus 32:20? It's one thing you've never seen a Bible. It's entirely another to decide who's allowed to talk to Washington or Rome. He's called the messenger of Allah because he delivers his own agenda, which is not to go back to prison. His depiction is haram because he's a fugitive. Please don't send us back to that hell on earth. No, you're going to do it our way. A cult has rights back where they came from. They established filial ties to the land and its people through ceremonial burial, last rites. So they bury people, so they own the land. That's their Catholicism is a religion because they can come here and be Catholic without having to challenge our financial system and enslave all the little blonde kids. Religion has an element of eternity. You worship an eternal deity, not some kid you raped. Not granting wishes, acting like you have to because it was his idea to rape him unconscious. Reasonable people just presume that freedom of religion does not provide for your freedom to reject it, but reasonability is not a big thing in Islam. Unreasonability is encouraged, it's rewarded. Reasonability is punished. There is but one Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. You have no say in the matter. You're a slave of the prophet or the infidel. Persecute or be martyred. It has to be that guy, or you're next. You're going back to prison. The last emperor of China abdicated to a bunch of child molesters, and now we have a fag revolution over here trying to sign people out of prisons they personally own like they're the kings of America, walking around enjoying the protections we provide while stealing from the treasury by raping our goddamn kids and calling them liars until they shoot up a school since Vietnam. They rape our kids. They say they blame us so they can be like, oh, we have to protect this child from you. And then they go around suing everybody and leave us, they manage both sides of a conflict they created because Islam's the religion of God. Number one, God is eternal, so he doesn't have religion. He is the subject of our religion. And number two, apotheosis is heresy in any religion. So you're God. And that's why we kill God. Because our God is omnipotent and eternal. If you're going to be pushing us around, just let us prove you are God. There's one way to do that. That is to introduce you. If you're really him, we'll do whatever you say. You're not just going to hide behind international, industrial, and political sabotage and say it's all my fault. I will stomp on your pointy little skull until there's nothing left but the footprints of Jesus. So help me God. I have never forged ink on paper. I'm not a server hacker. So I'm not jumping phone lines and stuff. I never breached the Pentagon. They act like I was bragging about it. We're not affiliated, and we were not negotiating. Russia's like, oh no, well, who brought you in? Who told you could blame me? Because we're working on Al-Qaeda over here. I don't know if you like Al-Qaeda. They act like it's illegal for Russia and the U.S. Navy to be looking for the same guy. They just want to manage the conflict that they created. In closing, the gay revolution got Reagan and John Paul II both shot at roughly the same time just by pretending to help. John Hinckley Jr., which might be a clue, thought that Reagan had Jodie Foster locked in a man-sized safe. Well, if Jodie Foster was the real underage victim, they couldn't have said her name. So they started just bamboozling kids and then acting like they're protected because it wasn't Jodie Foster. They lock him up for 40 years and then let him out. He's like, it's just like they say. He's been at the mercy of some fucking wizard that whole time. It doesn't matter what legal loophole you thought. You are committing industrial sabotage against the Central Intelligence Agency. It doesn't matter if you thought it was their fault. Because I'm trying to talk to them. The only reason to stop me is because you want war. You can't blame them and stop me.